The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another World Cup edition of Soccer to the Max. We gave you Group A a few days ago. We're now into Group B with some high-profile teams and some teams that maybe you're discounting a little bit and maybe you shouldn't, especially because one is going to be talked about until the World Cup starts because they're in a battle with the United States and the rest of the CONCACAF elite in getting a World Cup bid. But still, it's going to be an interesting one to talk about for sure, because I want to see what everybody's opinions are, when it comes to these teams. Again, we are not giving official predictions here. We're doing a whole predictions show on June 10th, which is a Sunday, so don't think that, we didn't give predictions, something happened. No, I've officially given it to you pretty clear here. So let's break this down. I'm going to be discussing Morocco on this one. Rachel has Spain, La España, La Roja.
Hola, senors and senoritas. I'm ready.
She is ready. Spain is ready. Andres Iniesta is ready to retire in Glamour. And that is going to be one heck of a team to watch. And Erik has Iran and Portugal.
Yes, o Seleção das Quinas. But I gotta say, just to start things out here, Will Smith and Diplo, y'all let me down. I am disappointed.
Yeah, I gotta listen to that still. Is it bad?
Hey, I can't say bad. The word that comes to my mind is mediocre and repetitive.
Most World Cup songs are repetitive.
Yes, but repetitive is one thing, but do you have to be mediocre and repetitive?
Maybe not. Again, you can't be great all the time. There's been some really, really good ones. Again, like the one Couple Life is pretty, awesome. And I think Shakira's best one was the South Africa one. Probably because it fit the theme and the country really well. There's been a few others, but for the most part, they're not stuff that I want to go around listening to constantly. It's more like, God, I can't wait for the World Cup to be over so I don't have to hear this song anymore. But
or it's like, hey, whenever this comes on, I can drown it out with a vuvuzela. Bring those back.
Oh, Jesus. No, we're not even discussing the chances of that coming back. Oh, I think that the TV people would probably want to shoot someone if they thought that was a good idea. It's just...
Fox is losing money anyway. Hey, Rachel, how are you as far as still flying to Russia? I've got an idea.
110%.
What say you, Sean? You in? We need some backup.
I don't know. I have no idea how we would get there. But
I have my ways.
Alright, as long as Erik is providing the airfare, I'm good. Let's go. But alright, so let's get into this here. Erik, why don't you start off with Iran, who qualified last year, almost was able to force Argentina into some scary moments, but brilliance from one Lionel Messi took that away. But still, this is a team that's going to lull you into not paying attention and counterattacking.
Well, not just not paying attention and counterattacking. They are never afraid of being both patient and gritty. The 1-0 score line, especially their last few matches for their qualifier, it was something of their friend. Yes, they went ahead and exploded to get a few more goals on occasion, and they'll have those random, 4-0, 8-1 wins. But believe it or not, if you look at the makeup of this team, it's not like a Saudi Arabia where they just stick it home. You've got a lot of these Iranian players. You have one of the 3 goalkeepers plays for a Portuguese club in Marítimo. You've got 3 of them playing in Russia. You've got a couple playing in the Netherlands, Sweden, England, Greece. So they are very familiar with some of the top European ways of playing football. And I think that is going to make them an extremely dangerous team in this group and potentially set themselves up for a run.
Yeah, certainly. They were undefeated in qualifying. They're currently ranked 36 right now in the world, so a pretty high ranking for them, all things considered. And they've been undefeated, I think, even counting friendlies. They have history as a Portuguese manager in Carlos Queiroz. So he will be very familiar with one Cristiano Ronaldo and everybody else there. He has the pedigree as a coach to know his team's strengths, and perhaps it won't take too much to maybe upset a Portugal. But that first game against Morocco is absolutely pivotal for both of those teams. If one of them can get a win, they set themselves up pretty nicely as far as that goes. And one of their strikers, though, he's making some waves, certainly.
Well, you've got a few of their strikers, because what I love about this Iranian team is they've called on a lot of top firepower, and really a not-so-secret weapon that if anybody was going to play in this World Cup, I would want it to be him. Sardar Azmoun, 23 years old, 31 caps, 23 goals. And of the teams that I've mentioned that play their club football in Russia, he's right for one of the biggest clubs in Rubin Kazan. So he's very familiar with a lot of these pitches and the environment. And if he's out there as part of the starting 11, watch out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be his strike partner or not, but Ali Reza Jahan Bogush, I have no idea how to say that.
Reza Gushanejad.
Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Ghoochanejhad.
Oh, we're talking about this we're talking about the different person here.
Oh.
His last name is Jahanbakshsh.
Ah, their midfielder, Ali Reza Jahanbaksh.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
English.
I can barely say that, and keep in mind, I'm not sober right now, so I'm impressed I could get that through.
He led the Eredivisie in goals this season.
And he does have 4 in 36 caps for Iran, but considering how some of this other firepower, especially when you have Gushanejad, who plays with Erenveen, also in the Netherlands, they're probably going to have Jahanbaksh as more of an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, but, he's already getting linked to Napoli and some other clubs as well. So, yeah, Gushanejad was the guy that everybody was talking about last go around. So, adding more to that squad as far as attacking goes.
Yeah.
If you can get, some on the counter, some things going. We've seen it with Portugal. It might only take one goal to get them down. With Morocco, they have their own attacking talent, but again, if they can get those 3 points there, it won't take much. They could definitely be there for an upset.
Absolutely. And when you have 4 of your 5 strikers scoring double-digit goals for country, and at the very least going, you would say what's the one that was the worst ratio is Karim Ansari-Fard, who plays for Olympiacos, 16 goals and 62 caps. So you're looking at about a 1 in 4. The rest, you're talking almost a goal a game, or at worst, 1 in 2, 1 in 2.5. If they can keep this form going, then yes, an upset is clearly in the realm of possibility.
And an upset would be great for them in the cards, since they only have one World Cup victory ever, and that was against the United States in the 1998 tournament. So, yeah, if they can get another one to add to their tally of wins, hey, that gets it done for them. It's going to be difficult with who they have in front of them, but that's what the great thing about the World Cup is.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know, and I really think when you're talking about a team that has only lost 1 match since 2015, just the one, I don't know exactly how much they're going to let that pressure weigh on them, especially since that was a fairly recent loss away at Tunisia in a friendly just back in the end of March. But if they can keep their composure, especially in the first half of a lot of these matches, then they'll be fine.
Certainly, and Morocco's not too far behind the Iran in the FIFA rankings. They're 42nd, and they're making their 5th appearance in the World Cup, but it's been 20 years for Morocco to be in the World Cup, so they will be looking very much forward to things. They do have some history with Portugal, as they defeated Portugal in 1986, the year of my birth, to get through to the round of 16, the only time that they've gotten into the knockout stage, so there's a little bit of history.
Yes, the year of my birth as well. As a matter of fact, I was born about a week or so later. Yeah.
Hey, there you go. See, we're even getting our own personal histories in here. Rachel's sitting here going, "Oh, look at these old geezers here."
Hey, it's not my fault that I got to see the...
I wasn't even a thought.
Not my fault that I got to see the hand of God goal as an infant.
You were blessed already there,
Yeah.
Erik. See how that works? Their coach, Hervé Renard, actually coached Ivory Coast during those years where they were pretty good. Of course, they had an immense group of talent there to be able to choose from, but honestly, this team, again, is another team that you need to be careful for, and actually for the opposite reasons as Iran, because they actually try to play possession, but they also press you when they're going defensively. Again, the game against Iran is going to be important, but those Atlas Lions have a chance to upset Portugal, maybe pull a draw with Spain, something like that. It's there for the taking. One of their best players is not going to play because of club issues, as Sofiane Boufal had a huge blow up with Mark Hughes, and he didn't play for Southampton for almost the entire spring after March. So he's not going, and that's might be a big miss for them, but They do have some other guys, including Ayoub El Kabi, who has 47 goals and 56 appearances for his club, and he has 10 goals in 8 appearances for Morocco. So pretty good shot there for him. And of course, they also have Mendy Benatia, who plays for Juventus, and he was an absolute rock for Juventus all season. He's going to be key in that defense. They have Hakim Ziyech, who I think he's going to be on a lot of people's radar. Liverpool are already going after him. Roma are going after him. Dortmund's looking at him. So if he can have a pretty decent, group stage, maybe he gets him a look from somebody. Yeah, I think, again, Morocco's going to be one of those teams that perhaps, look, they have a lot to prove, right? Because they want to prove that they are a footballing nation once again. They went undefeated in qualifying. They defeated Ivory Coast to win their group, which, Ivory Coast still has talented players, even if Drogba is not. He's still playing and doing great things, but, not internationally. And it's just, yeah, I think we're going to see something. I think that Iran-Morocco game is going to be better than we're giving a lot of credit for. And also just this group might be a lot harder than we're getting. This might be one of those. Maybe we're talking about this as a group of death at the end of the day.
We easily could be. This is going to be a very, very big battle of attrition because everybody's got something to prove. And especially with the way that the wind is blowing towards that Morocco World Cup bid in 2026, they know that this could arguably be their only shot to settle things on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about that. I think they have a lot of things in their favor. All it takes is, one upset here. And maybe you're in. So, hey, we saw Spain not even make it to the knockout round last time around.
Boy,
maybe it happens again.
Boy, was that music to my ears. My 4-year grudge against Andres Iniesta finally died the day that was made official.
God. Well, speaking of the 8th ranked team in the world, Spain, Rachel, I mean, this is a stacked team.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone is picking them to win, too. I mean, this is... Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the list right now, and I'm just, overwhelmed with how much greatness there is for Spain. I love the David De Gea. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. And it's 11:38 at night, so if I didn't, oops. I love that. He's been killing it in the Premier League this season. Sergio Ramos, of course. I really like, one thing that stood out to me was Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich. Again, really don't know if I'm pronouncing these right or not, but at this point, who cares? Really like the pick because I think he's one of the most underrated midfielders in the Bundesliga, and I've always been a fan, so I'm excited to watch him.
No, yeah, I mean, Spain, it's just an embarrassment of riches, honestly. I mean, you don't even have to bring Alvaro Morata because you have some youngsters and Diego Costa that you can bring. Marco Asensio, you have Isco there. I mean, you still got Iniesta there. You have, I mean, the back line is an absolute just smorgasbord of greatness there. Sergio Ramos still playing at his peak. And like you said, David De Gea, Manchester United, EPL Golden Glove winner. That dude is going to win them games by himself. Even if they don't score, he's going to win them games by himself because he's so great. Greatest goalkeeper there is right now.
As long as he's not playing against teams like West Brom and Brighton.
Everybody has an off day, Eric.
Yeah, but against them, having an off day I can understand, but it's the ones against teams that are either newly promoted or are relegated, and they're singing Chicago songs in the commercials talking about them. Those kind of losses tend to piss me off. I'm just saying.
I didn't realize how new Spain's head coach was. I don't know how to say his name whatsoever, but I didn't realize that he has just been with them since 2016.
I'll give it a shot if you spell it.
The first name is Julen.
Julen.
And then Lopetegui.
Lopetegui.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, he's Portuguese. He's almost like a Todd Ramos. He spent time with their youth national teams, and he was actually helping. Who their last coach was. He was like a legend, and I can't remember his name right this second now. But anyway, yeah, he has a lot of history with some of these youngsters. The guys that are going to make the core of the squad still, or at least help the core of the squad that's older, be better. I mean, so.
Del Bosque. Vicente Del Bosque.
Exactly, Vicente Del Bosque. Rachel, I mean, I think we only have to mention one-word names, and everybody knows who these guys are. So it's when you can do that, that you're going to be one of the favorites. I don't blame you for picking this team, because if they come out all flying colors, especially with wanting revenge for the poor performances they had the last time around. Yeah, I don't see them repeating that twice.
As long as they don't cost me another bet, I'm okay.
What bet are you doing now?
I'm not doing any bet yet. But again, bets that happened during the World Cup, it's the reason why I got on Twitter many, many moons ago back in 2010.
Yeah, and don't discount the Andres Iniesta factor of the team wanting to have him go out on top, and the rest of these guys too. Some of these guys are probably, even if they're in their 30s, may not come back for another go around either. So this is sort of that. If 2010 was the last hurrah for some of the others, this is the final, I think, last hurrah for a Sergio Ramos, a PK, a Busquets.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if they're in their earlier 30s, then they would make a run at Euro 2020, and that be it. But aside from that, yeah, they know this is the granddaddy, this is their last go-around, and it's a teeny bit of a theme all throughout the Iberian Peninsula.
Yeah, and you get to have that Iberian derby at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be one of the key matches I'll be tuning in for.
Yeah, and you get it on day 2 very quickly. So, don't have to wait too long. And that means Portugal doesn't have to wait too long to try to do exactly what Spain did and win a Euro and then go and win the World Cup. We saw how they won the Euros, Eric. That was very Greece-esque, if you could say.
Oh, extremely. It was a grind. With the expanded tournament, that's one thing, but going through 7 matches and only winning 1 in 90 minutes. That is insanely tough to do. But they were the team that pulled it off. And since then, they did have a minor blip against, of all teams, Switzerland in their first qualifier. But since then, they've been just grinding out those same sorts of results. Defense, clean sheet. It worked for them for the most part in the Confederations Cup, aside from that penalty shootout loss to Chile. But this is a team that's proven very, very hard to score against, unless, well, you're the Netherlands.
Yeah, certainly. And I think you do have to wonder, though, some of these guys are, including a Ronaldo, who's proved that he was human this year. That latter half of the year, he was starting to not play every game. He was starting to have games where he was not involved.
Right.
And, you know, he hasn't had the most stellar of World Cups. I think he has like 1 goal in the 3 World Cups that he's been in.
And that was in the blowout against North Korea.
Yeah, that tells you something. He is not
Yeah.
a World Cup player as of yet.
No, and you really hit the nail on the head. If you look at the key makeup of this team, they're old up front, they're old in the back. Ronaldo, 33. Quaresma, 34. Bruno Alves, 36. Pepe, 35. Jose Fonte, 34. Midfield, João Moutinho, 31. They're used to these grinds, but it's still a grind. And I don't know exactly how much that you're going to have on offer if you're relying on these veteran players.
Yeah, and then the younger guys, the 2 Silvas, didn't really do much with their squads, club-wise. Bernardo Silva didn't even get to play for Manchester City. So I think that says a lot about what team we could wind up getting. And then let's not forget, Pepe's a walking yellow card. So
yeah.
And who's he playing against in that first game? Guys that know him so well, they will know how to get at him very quickly, and you could see how fast he could get sent off, and that's a whole different game once that happens. You know, again, Bruno Alves being 36, he has been tremendous. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but you have to think at some point that goes down for him. You know.
Well, I mean, it's not that difficult playing for an quote unquote up and coming, trying to return to glory club and Rangers. I mean, Scotland, if you're not Celtic, you're shite.
Right.
And what it is.
No, you're not wrong. I think the one person that could save them is their goalkeeper, Rui Patricio, from getting scored on a lot, aside from their defense. So they have that going for them as well. It just, again, with Morocco and Iran possibly surprising, I think this is where you do have to wonder about. This team really relies on Ronaldo still. Mm-hmm. And if he's not on, these teams could come and surprise.
Exactly. And you can't try that same mentality that won you the Euro. You can't try that same mentality that got you third in the Confederations Cup. You're going to have to win matches in 90 minutes because, let's face it, 3 points, realistically, I don't know if that's going to get you through with this group. I don't.
Well, it just depends, right? If Spain can win both their matches, Portugal doesn't have to do a whole lot, especially if you get a draw in that first game. I could see a 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw, and that sets them up to know, okay, this is what we got to do in the next 2 games. But that also could set up Portugal for, I think a draw might be the worst thing for Portugal because they might
Mm-hmm.
feel like, all right, we can kind of take or even a win might see them feel like they could take their foot off the gas, and they get upset in that second game or the third game or whatever.
Exactly, because even with 3 points, you would want to have a positive goal difference. Don't just go in saying, okay, draw, 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 3 points, difference of 0, and you may advance on some sort of tiebreaker. No, they've got to have some other sort of option aside from Ronaldo to put it in the back of the net.
Well, and the Euros is different because you could qualify as a best third or whatever with 3 points. You can't do that here, so.
And this is exactly what I'm saying. That's not gonna work in a tournament like this. You got away with it in France. You got away with it in the Confederations Cup because it was only 8 teams. You can't get away with it here.
Yeah, I mean, you only need one win though, and then you can force a draw somewhere else. I mean, I could see them get like a 1-0 against Iran, who's been, parking the bus for like 75 minutes, and Ronaldo finally gets one, and that's enough. I don't think, and if they can get that draw with Spain, where both each have a point, and then, it's more of a battle of does Spain want that first spot? Because remember, whoever you're playing the Group A, bracket, so you're playing, a Russia, an Uruguay. Do you want to try to avoid Uruguay? That's depending. But I mean, if you're Spain or Portugal, you should feel like you should be able to match up with them and play them.
Absolutely.
So.
And again, if the Portugal can get that 4th point, fine. That's all well and good. They just have to have the mentality of going after at least 4 points. That's what bothers me.
And what do you think of Portugal, Rachel? I mean, is it still all the Ronaldo show? You think some of these younger guys can finally step up? Because we saw them struggling in the Confed Cup too.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a heavy amount of pressure for Cristiano Ronaldo to perform, because for all we know, this could be his last World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to want to win. This is, everyone talks about him being one of the best players in the world, which he is. But, for him, I think a trophy would cement that.
It would certainly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, put him over Messi. In my opinion, I give him a slight edge because of the Euro, but this is the World Cup. This is going to decide who's 1 and who's 2 for this generation permanently.
Yeah, and I think Ronaldo is fine with all his club glories, where I think Messi has bigger pressure to come out and perform for Argentina here. So, we could very well see Ronaldo once again tired from another long year. You're in the Champions League final. Perhaps you win the Champions League.
Again.
Yeah, perhaps you win the Champions League again, and, the World Cup is... I'm not trying to say what matters to him more at this point, but perhaps the World Cup is... he already won a Euro. Perhaps the World Cup is not something that, he's going out there trying to score 10 goals or whatever. He's going to keep doing his thing that he's been doing. And whereas Messi might want to give it one more go to try to get Argentina to the promised land, they just barely couldn't do last time. What's the motivating factor for Ronaldo? Will he be able to carry this team? I don't know. This is a really tough group to say that in. I mean, I could definitely see Morocco or Iran doing an upset here, and I think Spain's got too many motivating factors not to come out here and want to cream everybody. They got a younger core mixed in with some not so old guys. You got the Iniesta factor. You've got a different coach here who has. Yes, they're playing sort of the same style, but yeah, if Spain does something besides getting like 7 points and struggles, I'll be really surprised.
Well, and Morocco or Iran could potentially, look back in 2014. Everyone saw Portugal, everyone saw Cristiano Ronaldo, and they didn't make it to the elimination round. The United States did. I think right now, yeah, the group's tough, but I think Spain is going to be that team that comes out on top just because, it's not like Portugal where you have just one player. There's a lot of players. But, I'm with you, Sean. I think that more Morocco than Iran, but Morocco could come up with an upset here. And it's not like it would be the most shocking thing in the world because the United States did it in 2014.
What do you think, Eric, the group as a whole here?
This is going to be among one of the wilder ones. And I'm going to flip Rachel's script a little bit. I think with the makeup of the team, Iran could be the surprise, that darling. Because we see a lot of these Middle Eastern teams, they come up. Saudi Arabia for the long time was the powerhouse, but then right around the time of the Athens Games in 2004, you had Iraq all of a sudden emerge. Now they're coming off of something of a golden generation. Iran, they're typically one of those other powerhouses, but nobody's really talking about them. And how they approach this team, how they're getting their players in Europe, I think is going to be a much bigger factor.
Yeah, and Morocco has 60% of their players in Europe as well. So we're talking about much different teams than we've seen in the past with both of these places. Yeah, this is going to be one of those groups that to really look out for, you hope, going in to the World Cup. And I think that's going to about do it for us as far as discussing this group. I think we've kind of covered everything. Once again, if you like what you heard, we do a regular show at least once a week, but we kind of focus on the American side of things, Major League Soccer, more so NWSL, which Rachel also covers in a writing format for Last Word on Soccer, who also help us promote the podcast by hosting us there as well. Of course, we are the official soccer podcast at W2Net.com, so make sure you check us out there. And yeah, we'll be back probably for sure on Sunday with not only a regular show to discuss what's been going on in WSL, MLS, and the news. We'll also be doing a Group C preview for that World Cup that is, not too far away, around the corner. And on Monday, I think I'm not sure if they start before, but for sure this weekend and Monday begin the pre-World Cup friendlies. The United States has one that's of not much significance, but they're playing Bolivia, and we'll cover that on Monday, as well as doing the Group D preview there. But yeah, Group C is also, got one of the teams, another favorite that everybody's going to be talking about in France. We talked about Spain having an embarrassment of riches. France also has an embarrassment of riches on their end too. You got Denmark, who has, quite a few number of talented guys that you're going to want to keep your eye on. Peru, especially if Paulo Guerrero plays. and Australia, who, they've been kind of in a mess, but it's the World Cup, you never know. But yeah, so look forward to that for the next couple of weeks, or the next couple of shows. Hit subscribe, Soccer to the Max, or the whole WC Network. You get everything that we do. And yeah, we'll see you not too far from here. Enjoy that World Cup fever. It's almost here.
And if you're listening to this before, have a safe, yet awesome Memorial Day weekend. If you're listening to this after, hope you had a good one and some fantastic stories.
For sure.
Adios. I don't know how to follow that up.